Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is it right here. We are days away from Spider-Man No Way Home. For some of you, it's not even days. For some places, it's actually already out right now. Of course, no spoilers. Do not spoil this movie. That would be very rude of you, and I would not appreciate it. And along with anyone else that doesn't want spoilers, which I assume is most of us, because this is going to be an amazing experience. And like I said, it's already out in most places. I'm going to be seeing it this weekend on Sunday, December 19th. And yeah, I'm excited for it. And I did promise you guys that I was going to do a final predictions video, so that's exactly what we're doing right here. And it is kind of a last minute thing considering, like, again, the movie's already out in some places. But I've been super busy the past couple days, so I didn't have time to do it until now. But we are here, we are doing it. Spider-Man No Way Home is coming. So let's talk some theories. And of course, spoiler warning in case any of these end up being right. And, I don't want to ruin your life by ruining Spider-Man No Way Home and all that stuff. And, so just be warned. No idea if these are actually going to be right. They're kind of just my personal theories. And you can let me know your own personal theories in the comments below as well. But again, if you've seen the movie, no spoilers, please. Alright, so right away, let's just get the obvious one taken care of. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in this. I don't know if you can even consider this a theory at this point. It's pretty much like it's happening. They're in the movie, and I'm so excited to see them return. And I'm just really excited to see the connection, like the interactions between their Spider-Man and Tom Holland's, especially because he's a younger Spider-Man. He has a lot more to learn, and he could probably learn some interesting things from these other Spider-Man. Like, I would absolutely love to hear Tobey Maguire tell him with great power comes great responsibility line. Tell that to Tom. That'd just be such a great moment. Another thing that people have theorized about is possibly in the second Spider-Man No Way Home trailer where we have MJ falling off the scaffolding there, and then Peter jumping down and basically like reaching out to grab her hand in a very similar way to what Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man did in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, except that didn't actually work, is that actually they just edited that in the trailer, and it's actually going to be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man that's saving MJ. So he wasn't able to save Gwen, but then he ends up saving MJ. I feel like that'd be a pretty cool moment as well. So yeah, like I said, Tobey and Andrew, pretty much like it's happening. It's not really a theory at this point, but they're in it. That's what I'm 100% confident in. Along with also the return of another character is Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock Daredevil. I don't think we're going to see him pop up in the actual Daredevil suit, but given the way that Spider-Man No Way Home ended, with Peter's identity being outed to the world, him being framed for the murder of Mysterio, he's going to need a lawyer. And who better to be a lawyer than Matt Murdock? And a lot of scoopers have been saying that like he is in the movie, but it's only for like one scene, which, I'll take it. Like, we're getting a whole bunch of other stuff in this movie. I'll take what I can get. And we, of course, yesterday, spoiler alert for Hawkeye Episode 5, got the return of Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, so it only makes sense to bring back Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock as well, and this is really the best place to do it. And again, that's another one that I'm super confident in because it's been reported on for months, and it just makes so much sense. But now let's get into some other things that are not confirmed and are actual theories that I have about this film. Like, for example, let's talk about the villains. We know we're getting Green Goblin, we know we're getting Doc Ock, we're getting Electro, Lizard, and Sandman, but who else is in here? Because this whole time we've been thinking it was going to be a multiversal Sinister Six, but that's only 5 villains. So, who is the 6th member of the Sinister Six? Well, I don't think there is one, because a lot of scoopers have also said that there's only 5 villains. I do think, and at least I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that there are some other villains in this movie, maybe just not a part of this multiversal Sinister Six team. Like, I'd love to see a cameo from Michael Keaton's Vulture, or Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, or even Michael Mando as Matt Gargan, aka Scorpion. I'd love to see little things like that, or maybe even like little looks into other universes at some point here through portals or whatever, of possibly like Jared Leto's Morbius or Tom Hardy's Venom, and we'll talk about Venom later on in this video as well. Maybe even getting looks at other characters from the Raimi verse and from the Web verse. Which, speaking of, when it comes to other characters returning on the more heroic side, one of the big questions that was actually reported on already, like, when this whole idea and whole news was first coming out about this film being a multiversal movie, was that Kirsten Dunst and Emma Stone were returning as Mary Jane Watson and Gwen Stacy. And as much as I'd like to see them in this movie, I don't think they will be, because some people have mentioned that due to COVID restrictions and like the pandemic and everything, that they weren't able to get everybody back, and I have a feeling that those are the two actresses that they possibly were not able to get back, especially since considering at the time of filming this movie, Emma Stone was actually pregnant, so she was probably, extra wary of that at that point. But yeah, I'd like to see them in this. I mean, it'd be awesome to see Emma Stone show up as an alternate universe Spider-Gwen and then see Andrew's reaction to that. That would be amazing, but unfortunately, I doubt that's going to happen. But then again, if it does happen, I would absolutely love it. Another one, though, that I think is pretty likely as well is the Raimi-verse J. Jonah Jameson, because, of course, we have J.K. Simmons as the MCU J. Jonah Jameson in this movie, who was introduced in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man Far From Home. We know he's in this, but since it's literally the same actor, it would make a lot of sense if we saw also the Raimi-verse version of J. Jonah Jameson as well, and I think that'd be really cool, especially if you had the two versions meeting, two JJJs. That would just be complete chaos, but so much fun to watch at the same time. Now, alright, so far we've pretty much just been talking about cameos and different characters I think are going to pop up here, but let's talk about characters that we know are going to be in this movie and how we think this film is actually going to go for those characters. Like, for example, Dr. Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus, played by the amazing Alfred Molina, making his return for this film. We've seen some villainous stuff from him in the trailers, but I have a feeling that at least by the end of this, or maybe even towards the middle of this movie, he's going to turn to the good side and actually become an ally to our spider friends, I guess you could say, like Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and all these other heroic characters in this film, because again, like everything we've seen from that character in these trailers is from that bridge fight when we know he's first introduced in this film, or reintroduced in the movie. So it would make a lot of sense, because literally Spider-Man 2, before he became Dr. Octopus, before the tentacles took over, he was a good guy. He was really a good guy, and especially the way that he sacrificed himself. We don't know exactly when he's going to be pulled in from when it comes to the canon of that movie. But he is a good guy, and the only time he's evil is when his tentacles have taken over and his inhibitor chip was fried. So we could be seeing a version of that. I feel like we are going to be getting a heroic version of Dr. Octopus in this film. He'll start off as a villain fighting Tom Holland Spider-Man, but I have a feeling they're going to team up by the end of this, because there was actually a shot in the second trailer where it looked like Doc Ock was fighting Electro. I mentioned that in my trailer breakdown. So that's definitely 100% something that I could see happening in Spider-Man No Way Home. But the ending for this movie is really the big thing that we don't really know that much about, because, I haven't really read many plot leaks or anything like that, but from what I have heard about this movie, I haven't heard much about the ending. How is this film going to end? How is it going to end off this trilogy and set up the next one, which we know Tom Holland is getting a second trilogy in the MCU. So what's it going to do for that? Well, first of all, during this final battle, we're going to be getting some casualties, because we know Tom Holland's Peter Parker, he's growing up, he's graduating high school, he's moving on to college, and he's really becoming his own man. He's really basically going from Iron Man Jr., or Iron Boy Jr., Spider-Boy, whatever you want to call him, to really becoming Spider-Man by the end of this movie. We know Tom Holland has said that this movie is basically just going to destroy him, his emotions and all that stuff, and by the end of this film, I have a feeling he is going to be completely alone. He's going to lose everybody from his life, because I think Aunt May is going to die. We know Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, is going to be the main villain of the movie, and he's going to be rough in this movie. He's going to be super brutal, and I have a feeling he's going to kill Aunt May, because we see those shots in the trailers where you got the pumpkin bomb, and Aunt May looks like to be in the same place, and then you see the explosion, and not looking too good for her. Which, obviously, that alone would just be absolutely devastating to Peter Parker right there, but I think things are going to get even worse, because we know the whole reason that things go wrong in this movie is because Peter is trying to solve his problems by asking Doctor Strange to cast a spell to make everyone forget that he is Spider-Man. But then he messes up the spell, and things go wrong, the multiverse breaks open. But I have a feeling that by the end of this movie, they're going to try that spell again, and it's actually going to work this time. But unfortunately, like before, where he was trying to get it so that, at least MJ can remember, or Ned, or my Aunt May, or anything like that, that won't happen. They will all forget, and he truly will be alone. Because we did see, almost a year ago at this point, I think it was, a set video of Tom Holland, his Peter Parker, and there was like snow on the ground, so it was clearly Christmas time. We know the beginning of this movie takes place around Halloween. That's when he first gets the idea to go find Doctor Strange, and so it seems like he's actually like going to ask out MJ, and like nobody's like, you know, crowding around him or anything. So it seems like he's just back to being regular old puny Parker, or penis Parker, whatever Flash was calling him in Spider-Man Homecoming, and he's just going to be living the normal life, and everybody is going to forget that he was Spider-Man. So it's going to be that MJ is not going to remember anything about them being together. So they were never together. Well, technically they were, but she doesn't remember any of it. And I have a feeling that by the end of this movie, he's going to attempt to tell her how he feels, and maybe tell her that he's Spider-Man and, you know, all that stuff, but he's ultimately going to decide not to do it, and then he's going to move on with his life. And we know, like I said, he's graduating high school, he's going to college, and in a similar sense, I think he's also going to lose his best friend with Ned, because maybe he'll tell Ned and he'll understand, you know, we'll still be at the same point, but again, they're going to be going to college. I have a feeling that maybe Ned gets accepted to a different college, so then they have to part ways anyway, and, you know, it's going to be really sad, like, really emotional here, but that, of course, opens up the door to other future possibilities in the college years, where you can meet Gwen Stacy, another love interest, and then basically replace his best friend as well with Harry Osborn. So, that would be really interesting. I mean, just get the replacements, but, yeah, Peter's going through some really emotional stuff in this movie, and he's going to be lonely by the end of it. So I'm both excited and cautious of this part of the movie, because I'm like excited to see this new side of Tom Holland's Peter Parker, but also like I'm gonna cry, like I'm gonna feel so bad for him. It's gonna be so emotional, but I'm so excited to see it. But guys, that is pretty much where I think the movie's going to end, and then we transition into the post-credit scene. We know there's 2 post-credit scenes. One of them I think is just going to set up Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Could possibly even be an actual trailer, that's what I have been hearing. But the other one, I have a feeling, is going to be something setting up a eventual battle and meeting between Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Tom Hardy's Venom. Because we know, based off the post-credit scene for Venom Let There Be Carnage, which if I'm being honest, I still haven't even seen that movie, but I know what happens, and we know it's all leading up to their eventual meeting, and I have a feeling that's actually going to be in Venom 3, so I feel like this post-credit scene is going to really set that up. We saw an actual photo of Tom Hardy wearing a cast and crew hat with the Spider-Man No Way Home logo on it, so we know pretty much that he's in the movie, and I have a feeling he is going to be in a post-credit scene, but then again, like I said, could possibly be an earlier part of the film. We just don't know for sure. But guys, those are my theories, my final predictions for Spider-Man No Way Home. It is right here. I'm so excited for it. I mean, the first reactions and reviews are in. It's a great reaction. People are saying it's one of the best superhero movies of all time, the best Spider-Man movie, all this great stuff. I did a video the other day breaking down some of the first reactions, and it just sounds like it's going to be a great film. Again, these are just my theories. You can let me know your own theories in the comments below. And when are you going to be seeing Spider-Man No Way Home? So guys, like I said, keep safe out there. Good luck trying to avoid spoilers. I'm going to do my best. I already deleted Twitter, but for now, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.